Hey, hope you had an awesome summer. It's great to be back. I'm really excited to be starting back up again now that it's September. And I hope that you guys had an awesome summer. You had a great break. Hopefully you got to go and do some stuff. I'm just very excited to see this banjo. Please bring it in sometime so that we can check it out. I've never played a tenor banjo, so that could be a lot of fun just to even look at, or once you've maybe started learning a couple songs with it. That being said, maybe we should try doing some of those songs that we could learn on both the fiddle and the banjo, and then you could try it, and then if you are familiar with it on the violin, if you go to play it on the banjo, you would know what it should sound like, and then it might help you to figure out the notes a little bit easier as you're learning it. But regardless, we'll figure all that out when you come back, for whenever you want to bring the banjo, no worries. For today's lesson, what I thought would be helpful would be just to go over some of the basics, just to review it one more time, because it's been a couple of months. I'm even a little bit rusty. It's good for me to go back and review this stuff. I was practicing my scales earlier. I don't want to add new songs just because we have the songs from before that we can practice still at home that you're already familiar with, so we'll stick with that for now. If you want to add some new stuff, totally, we can add some new stuff. Maybe in our next lesson, we can talk about songs you'd like to learn. Again, if you want to go the fiddle route, we could learn songs that could transfer over. No pressure either way. But I just want to go over some just basic review stuff today. So starting with the bow, I'll just put my violin down for a second here. So when we are holding our bow grip, remember, the easiest way to get to the place we want to be is to hold the bow flat in your hand like so. And then I personally like to put my thumb right there in the gap between my finger grip and my frog. That's personally where I feel the most comfortable. And then you roll it up. So the tip of your thumb is right there, not the pad of your thumb. You don't want that sticking through. You want just the tip of your thumb. You want a nice bend in your thumb. You don't want it to be like this. I can already feel the pressure in this muscle and in this muscle. That's the last thing you want. And when you flip it over, it should just be nice and relaxed. The pinky shouldn't push or distend. It should be nice and curved. I have a shorter pinky, so mine isn't going to sit like that. Mine's going to sit a little bit more flat, but I'm not pressing with my pinky. My pinky is just resting. If anything, the only pressure I'm feeling holding it like this is right here, because the weight of the bow isn't being held up by the strings. Once this is rested in the strings, that tension goes away immediately. So that's our bow grip. With the violin itself, I'll put the bow down. We want to make sure that our palm is not against the neck of the violin, nice and away. Again, we talked about before the triangle of this part of your arm, your bicep, and then the neck and the body of the violin, making a perfect triangle. It might relax a little bit. You don't want it to be tense. You're not holding this tight. This should be relaxed. It shouldn't have any tension in whatsoever. When you go to rest the violin, you'll see that for me, I'm resting it between this knuckle and this part of my palm, and there's no tension there. I'm not gripping it with my hand. It's just resting there. If I lift it, there's no pressure from my hand preventing it from coming out, right? It just ends up resting there as if it were on a shelf or something for display. Not that I put my violin on display, that's weird. So we've got nice and relaxed hand posture. You want to try to make sure that your fingers are, it's easier to see from this angle, curved towards the violin. So if anything, you can see my palm gets turned inward so that really your thumb kind of ends up shifting over here a little bit. As opposed to keeping your hand away. You want to try to keep your fingers close and try to keep them as close to the neck as possible. We're going to review the G major scale. So on the G string and on the D string, we have high twos. So I'll play that part real quick. Now, as I'm doing that, I want you to note how close the second and third fingers are. When I say high two, I want them to be nice and close. If it's a little bit lower, so here you can see my fingers nice and close. If it's a little bit lower, listen to how that detunes those notes. Instead of... That's just due to the way that the scale sits. So that's on the G and the D string. From here, we're now going to be going to the A and the E string, which have low twos. Now again, note how close that 2 is to my 1. try to really go for that instead of, see how that changes the tuning, even just being a slight little angle away, right? So all together, the G major scale. And back down. You can also practice the arpeggio if you want. You don't have to do that yet. We can just focus on the scale for now. Just warming those fingers up. Just giving us something to practice that we're familiar with, that we're comfortable with, and then moving into trying some of your pieces perhaps, but focusing on bow technique, left hand technique, and just trying to get everything nice and relaxed as we're getting back into this, because I know tension was something that we were working on before, so I just put my line down. Again, I'm very excited to see you once we start back up here. I'm going to post this. As you can tell, it's no longer in our old app, it's in a new app, so you'll find it in a new location, and I look forward to seeing you at our next lesson. Bye.